things that we'll be doing tonight is that we'll be demonstrating the gift of prophecy, the role, the office, and everything tonight. I just want to thank you for taking our time to do this today. As the Lord lays in my heart, I'm going to pray when we finish tonight. I have enough time. I've got about 3 hours before I leave back for London tonight. But I want to pray with you. I want to pray with you on someone. I'm praying for you for someone, for 2 people. And I hear Natalia. I hear Chantal.
My daughter.
Your daughter?
Yeah.
Kingston? Where is she?
She's in Jamaica.
Where?
Kingston. Yeah, Kingston.
Kingston. Kingston.
Yeah.
See that? Sorry, that happens once in a while. Are you July?
Yeah.
30th?
31st.
31st? 31st. Last day of July. It's last day July 31st.
Yeah, 31st, yeah. July
6-6. Father, I thank Lord Jesus for this one, Lord God, that you've spoken a word to. Let this grace she carries, Lord God, stand forth with her. Because she has said, I can't pronounce it. It sounds like TOWNSEND or something. Lord God, we ask Jesus tonight that because she has come, Lord God, to hear you, that you shall speak to her, Jesus. As she has desired from time to hear your voice clearly, that she shall speak. I'll pray with you and I'll pray for all of you when I finish. I don't want to stop teaching. Amen. Amen. What I just did now is a gift.
Amen. Amen.
It has nothing to do with an office. An office is when I rebuke you. When you got the kid. So you are set with the both because Jesus Christ. May you not go to a burial after going for a birthday. You.
Amen.
Amen.
40 years old Judy. Who is that?
40 years. Judy, she's a member of this church.
Johnson.
Yeah. She was 40 last week.
Did you go for the birthday?
Yes, I went.
Sit down. We'll talk later. Alright then. I want to talk on a very important one today. Are you there?
Yeah.
You see, I see a lady celebrating with gold.
Yes, we walk road.
The fall. You will not celebrate, you will not shed tears. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
We'll pray for the church. And that's why it's needed in the church, the gift of prophecy.
Amen.
When it comes like this, we foresee things that's about to come. Then we block and defend it before they come. Amen. Every church needs it.
Amen.
You need to desire it. Even though you don't want to be a public figure, for the sake of the church of God, you need to desire it.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, I'll speak on this one. Pastor Prophet don't like speaking on the fall. But before you go that, let's look at the book of Numbers. Amen. There's a book here. Unfortunately, I've got only one. A book. It's called The Ministry's Guide, The Prophet's Notebook. It has literally everything that is here. So that's what I'll give to the man of God. So if you want I don't know. It can give you the name of the author. I don't know where you can find it. But check it. I was given it as a gift ages ago. And if you cannot find it, if I cannot find it, come and borrow it from Instagram. I'll make photocopy. But if you cannot find it anywhere, I don't know. But it's a very good resource.
I will search for it.
Please do it. Yeah. So that's it. It has the A to Z. Everything you need to know. Everything you need to do. So, yes, numbers. We will not bury our young. In the name of Jesus.
Amen.
We will not bury our young. We will not bury our young. So, so, gold is a symbol of kingship. And yeah, by the way, maybe the next class I'll teach on symbols, signs, numbers. You know, this is a very important study of the Bible. Figures. When some of you dream and you see things, I'll teach on that next time. Numbers, alphabets, prophetic alphabets, what they all mean. Someone wants to learn. I need you to read from me. Okay, we cannot find it now. I think it's numbers, should be numbers 12, can't remember. Let's see which one do that. Okay, it's Numbers chapter 12. I'll read from verse 1. How are you? How are you? Good.
Then Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses.
1 second. First I told you that Moses was a prophet. Miriam was a priest. Anyway, start, go on.
Then Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. So they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth. Suddenly the Lord said to Moses, Aaron and Miriam, come out, you three, to the tabernacle of meeting. So the three came out. Then the Lord came down in the pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both went forward. Then he said, hear now my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a visible.
Hold on a second.
In a vision.
No, hold on. Read that verse again.
Hear now my words. If there is a prophet
among you, okay?
I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. I speak with him face to face.
Ended. Okay. Joel chapter 2 verse 28. Joel 2:28 and Acts 1:7 says the same thing. But Joel 2:28, the book of Joel. Joel is one of the minor prophets.
I read, please.
Yeah.
And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh.
Wait, take note. I will pour out my spirit upon Nigerians.
No.
Ghanaians?
No.
All flesh.
All flesh. Now, spirit on all. Okay.
Your sons and your daughters.
Okay, wait 1 second. Your sons.
And your daughters.
Okay.
Shall prophesy.
1 second.
Prophesy.
Prophesy. Okay.
Your old men.
Old men. Okay.
Shall dream dreams.
1 second. Dreams. Okay.
Your young men shall see visions.
Okay. That in the young men vision. Okay. maybe the next class I'm going to break the prophecy, dream, vision. I'm going to break it a lot of times. They're all under the prophetic umbrella. Some people, God speaks to them through dreams. I'll speak, and I can't do it today. I don't want to compress your head. I don't want to bring too much. I'm going to give you space to breathe. Because back in the Bible says, back in the days before Samuel, who was a prophet, what they had were seers. Seers. Now, I'm taking it to a higher dimension from what I taught it before. It's a seers. Seers. But the word prophet in the Bible, actually, in the book of Genesis, the Lord used prophet for Abraham when he disguised Sarah as his sister and took to the Abimelech that wanted to sleep with her. And he says, release him, for he is a prophet. Prophet. However, after that dispensation, we had seers. Who are seers and what? A seer and a prophet. They are two interchangeable but yet different positions. The Greek word seer is called nabai, N-A-B-I-Y. And a prophet is called prophetess. But if you break it, P-R-O-P-H-E-T-E-S. Now, let me break what a seer and a prophet is. A seer, the Bible says, when Saul lost his donkey, they went to meet Samuel, who would tell them where the donkeys were. The Bible says they went to meet the prophet Samuel. But before then, what was called a prophet was formerly called a seer. So what we call prophets now are called seer. But the only reason why a seer, there was a different dimension from a prophet to a seer. All a seer does is he sees. Okay? Mm-hmm. But all the prophet does, he exalts, edifies, and consoles. Okay? Amen. What you call seer, that's what you have as native priests. You go to a juju doctor and he tells you this is what is going to happen to you. They foresee things to come. That's their own responsibilities. But that's what they do. They know things to come. But a prophet, not only does he know things to come, as he knows the things that come, he begins to edify you. He begins to exalt you and console you for what's to come. So the core aim of this guy is seers. They are to see what is about to come. Amen. For instance, you could say, in 15 years' time, I see this going to happen. They tap into the future and bring it to the present. So they are called seers because they see. But a prophet was given much more responsibilities later. How? He did not only see, he began to exalt. He began to edify. He began to console. And this responsibility started with the prophet Samuel. That's why he was a civil leader, he was a priest, and he was a prophet. Amen. Amen. A civil leader, he had to be a leader because he foresaw what's going to come. So because of his leadership, he had to prepare the city at the time for what is to come. He was a priest. All priests does back in the day, they intercede for the people. So it's not just for this see what is to come. He begins to intercede for the people, and it's like exhortation. Intercede for the people. And priest and prophet, and he sees what is to come. You understand? Yeah. So a seer is someone who has no prophetic responsibility of catering to God's flock. They only see. And most of these people, they end up being priests, as native priests. You see them. So those guys you see doing juju priest and all that, they are actually gifted. But they are not gifted for the church. Yeah. And before we go there, let me say this to you, that everyone has the ability to see outside of this sphere. Okay, I don't want to cancel this. I need it. Everyone has an ability to see, okay, this is the world. This is earth now, yeah? Yeah? And things that happen in the spirit happen here. Okay? But we are here. So, because we are a part of this world, everything we ask for is here. Okay? But the word supernatural means that it has passed the borders of natural. So it means anything supernatural is actually outside of this place. So when you begin to pray for things that this place cannot provide, it becomes supernatural. For instance, it is not supernatural when you graduate from university, you study a course and you work in a place. It's not supernatural because you study to work. But it is supernatural when you don't have a first degree, yet they call into a position that is made for professionals. You get that?
Yeah.
It is not supernatural when you earn, say, 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year, and you take care of your family. You understand? It is supernatural that you do not have a work, you do not have a job, but your family are living okay. It is not supernatural that you go to the gym, you keep fit, and they always go to your GPs for check, your dentist, your eye screening and all that. It's not supernatural because you go to this place and they check it. But it is supernatural that even though you may not have papers in this country, they won't go for the GPs, you do not fall sick. So things that is within these confines, things that you can get from here, it's not supernatural because it's inside of the natural. Supernatural is when it passes border. It means that even though you do not qualify, you pass it. For instance, supernatural is you not qualified, but God qualifying you for it.
Amen.
Supernatural is it has passed anything here. It's you have a responsibility to oversee. But anything outside of here, God does it. So supernatural is you breaking these margins, breaking it and cracking it to assess this. When we pray to the Father, because God is outside of time, the world now, time and space. Oh God, help me here. Bible says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the Lord began to move upon the face of the waters and fast. And God said, now, Bible says, in the beginning, God created. So it means God existed before the beginning. Okay? Now, God is outside of the beginning. So when God created, God did not create time and space. He existed outside. In fact, when God created Adam, there was no time and space. It was sin that brought time. The day you ate of it, you shall. Surely, the word surely speaks of time. It means it must happen. So when God created man infinite. The word infinite. Everything infinite. But when man sinned, man puts a stop. And the name of the stop man puts is called death. Death from sin. And time was broken. So everyone must die. Okay. Now, however, what happened is this. When we begin to pray for certain things that is not within this sphere of life, we're actually accessing the supernatural. The word supernatural is just something super and natural. So it brings, it's more than natural. So it's past natural, it becomes supernatural. That's what it is. So basically, what happens when we pray as Christians, we ask God who is outside of time and space. And the result we get is from the supernatural. So when we pray, we get it from here to us here. Okay?
Yes.
And when we prophesy, because of we are spirits now. Remember, you are spirits, you have a soul, you live in the body. Now, because you prophesy, you are spirits, you do not have connection with the world. So because you are spirits, you travel outside of time. For instance, I cannot pronounce your or call your name because I do not know you. I don't know where you are born. But in the realms of the spirit, you are a valence selection. Permit me. Valence means you are free. Everyone can see you because everyone is here. So anybody can see anybody here. Because when you see the world like this and we are all like this, the spiritual world, everybody is just floating. Your spirit is just floating. So anyone have access to see you. So even the priest that is actually a witch doctor can see you once he breaks this place. So they can actually see you and prophesy and say, I saw you, I saw this thing, which is true. You understand? So the reason why I'm saying it is because false prophets can give true prophecies.
Yeah.
And true prophets can give false prophecies. Because you are outside of time, you can see things here. So the reason why I'm saying it is because so when we prophesy, we begin to see outside of the borders of life. Of this is called cosmos. We begin to see the supernatural. So when I close my eyes and I pray, I travel outside of my margin, and I begin to get information. But I do not need to be a Christian to break this. Astral projection can break this. Yoga can break this. Those people that like yoga and cross your leg and do python, God will help you. Can break this. Horoscopy. You know, they'll tell you Pisces, Aries, Leo, Tigris, all those many things can break this. Libra and them thing can break this. Anything that has to do with mysticism can break this. Any force outside than God can break it. Literally anything spiritual can break it. And once it's broken, they have access to all your information. So a false prophet can see me and call it Prophet Oscar. I won't be surprised. Why? Because he has broken the margin of time and see me. But the question you probably going to ask this guy is, who gave you the information? On what access, on whose access did you break forth? The only reason why I can break out of this place is because I have access from the Almighty God. Understand? So he gives me access to break through. So if you're not of God, then how did you break through? How did you get access? That's the question. So prophecy is not based, right? Prophecy is not based on precision and accuracy. Prophecy is not based on precision and accuracy. Prophecy is not based on precision and accuracy. The fact that you're correct 100% doesn't make you a prophet. Prophecy is based on information, it's based on obedience and source. Prophecy is not based on precision and accuracy. Prophecy is based on what? Obedience and what? Source. A false prophet can see things really. The truth is when you go to what do you call it? Priests, these guys, they see it. They tell you, and it's true. But the question is this: because they do not have access, because this guy did not give them access, so this guy will not give them the answer. So because this guy will not give them the answer, they'll find the answer somewhere. So they will not tell you. So if they're not telling you, go and study the Bible, because they know this one will not give them the answer. Of course, they have to go to another force of demonic powers. Yeah. Should I do this?
Yes, do it.
Ephesians chapter 6. So let's look at the dimensions of operations outside of the borders of this cosmos. Cosmos, I mean this part of life, the world, nature, life. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10.
Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10.
Yeah.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the evil of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
Wait. Principalities. The second one.
Against powers.
Second, powers. Third,
against the rulers of darkness of this age.
Of darkness of this age. Yeah.
Spiritual host of wickedness.
Spiritual
in the heavenly places.
Host of wickedness. 4 dimensions of demonic operations. Outside of this, they all exist here. But see what's going to happen. Principalities, powers, rulers of darkness of this age, spiritual wickedness in high places. I don't want to go into demonology now. That's a bit too. Let's leave certain things for now. But know that all these guys, they exist outside of here. And if you don't get your message from here, you get from one of these guys. They're dimensional operation, dimensional demonic operation. How many of you are Nigerians here? No one. I was going to call the name of us, the name of something. But don't worry. So, and now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm trying to bring you to how prophets see, or rather how you can see. The truth is this: every one of you can break this place. You can actually do it.
Amen.
Actually pray. But if you are spiritually vulnerable, don't. Because when you break this place, you have access to anything. All these things are flying around.
Yeah.
You break through, your heart becomes porous. So it's any of these things. Worship is the most vulnerable time in the church. It is in worship that we either get bound or free. Worship is the most vulnerable time in church where your soul is opened. Your gate is open. And in worship, it's either you can get delivered or you can take in demons. The pastor of a church must be very careful, if anything, who he gives to lead the worship in church. Because they open up your gates. And once worship is because of music appeals your soul. Music opens up your soul. And once you open up your soul, either you receive from God or you receive from these guys. Because you become porous. So people during worship, they become possessed. While others get free. Careful. It doesn't anything I do with my worship now. I don't mind not preach, I don't mind the word, but the worship. Because that's the man who is going to lead. Listen, the Bible says John the Baptist was in the river before he called Jesus to come and baptize. Every worshiper that you have in your church must first have an experience, must first have an encounter with the experience that they are calling you into. John the Baptist was there. The Bible says in John that he was in the wilderness, but he did not baptize Jesus in the wilderness. He had to have an encounter with the presence that is taking Jesus to. So every worshiper mustn't be alienated to the place of worship. So they must have an encounter with the presence first before they take us to the presence. So any worshiper who is not soaked in the presence first, they cannot lead you.
Where is it taking you?
So while you are going there for the first time, the worshiper is actually returning. Because they've had an experience there before, then they now take you to the place. But when you have someone who doesn't understand the dynamics of God, they don't know where they are leading. A worshiper is a leader. That's why John the Baptist prepared the way, showed the way, because he was first on the mountains, on the wilderness, then he came to prepare the way. So as a worship leader, you prepare the way for the church. And sometimes when worship leaders, they are not in tune with God, they do not just prepare the way, they lead the way to demons.
Yes.
And people lift up holy hands accepting demonic powers.
Yes. That's it.
So anyone can break this place, but you better be careful how soft or how vulnerable you are. But once you break this place without an understanding of this guy here, this guy will rush you. And sometimes see manifestation in church, it's not God, it's demonic spirit really. You think I'm worship, that's not worshiper. Don't let them go. Be careful. That's the reason why. At the point at church, I was saying to them, I'd rather not have. And it's such a shame in this day and age where pastors will know that their members are fornicating. Their worship leaders are fornicating. They know that the worship leaders live in sin, literally. But pastors do not have a choice because he feels if he lets you go, nobody will play the music. So pastor begins to keep you there, possessing members.
Yes. That's it.
That is how hungry George has decided to keep on going. But I'd rather have someone who doesn't know any key, who doesn't know how to sing, who doesn't sing off key, off tune, but whose heart is right to God. But the Bible says, it said to the woman, when the true worshippers shall come, it didn't say they will sing on good notes or good key. They said, when the true worshippers, they shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. Worship is not about the lyrics or the rhythm or the composition. It's about you leading us to the Father. So when you worship, I don't care about you. I've got them in London. I've got a lot of them in London. They all submit to my ministry, and they know, they know the riffs are wrong. But as long as their life is not in tune with God, I will never give you the microphone to lead my people into a demonic cage.
Wow.
That's a very good idea. So we must invest in the worship. We must invest in the worship leader, not the worship. Worship is the culture of God. So the person who has it's actually the worship leader, pastor, because the worship leader leads the pastor as well.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. See, if your worship leader is from the pit of hell, your church is lost. The church is lost. Because worship is the only thing I can bring, not even the word. The Bible says the word is sharper than two. You see that the Bible says the word is sharper, it pierces through the spirit, dividing as one and so. But worship open up your gates. Wow. Because worship deals with your mind, and your mind is divided into three parts: your will, your emotion, your intellect. Your will, your emotion, your intellect. And by the time your gate is open, come on, anything can enter you.
Wow.
So if anything, worship, don't joke with it. It is the only time you can actually get delivered or you can get possessed.
Yes.
So before you try to break this place, look at your what you leader, look at their lifestyle.
Yes.
Are you sure you want to lead me into worship?
Yes.
That's the reason why at church, I don't mind you. You can come to church and you can come and entertain in church. If it's entertainment, let us know it's entertainment. We'll dance for entertainment. But do not bring an entertainer and say it's a worshiper. Because I can listen to entertainment, I don't get possessed, and it's entertainment anyway. But in worship, worship means, see what Jesus said to the woman. When the true worshippers are called, they shall worship the Father. Yeah. So worship means that you directing everybody to the Father. But when the Father is not your source, who do you direct everybody to then?
Demons.
That's it.
Alright then. So these are dimensions. Apart from God, these are dimensions outside of this place as well. So it means that they can give you information. Apart from God. So a prophet can hear from God, a false prophet can hear from these guys. They will hear the same thing, see the same thing. But the problem is their source of information. So worship is not, or prophecy is not based on precision and accuracy, but based on obedience and source. Obedience is very important in the prophetic. Because sometimes God will show you but tell you not to tell them. God can show you the problem of somebody, but will tell you not to say it. Very, very important. Now, but I'm going to come to this now. Bible says, God was saying to, I want to ask a question.
Please.
Yeah.
I want to ask, as a prophet, how do you differentiate what outside the sphere? How do you differentiate what God is telling you and what this other guys are saying?
I'll come to that. It's called discernment. Yeah, I'll come to that. But I'll come to that. I will remind me Acts chapter 16. So remind me. But let's come to this one first. I'll come to that anyway. So as you begin to mature in the prophetic, you begin to know voices. That's what they call will they take it? Yes, you can take it.
Of course.
In the dimension of the prophetic, there are three things that happen with sound: pitch, quality, intensity. Pitch, quality, intensity. A prophetic person begins to train on pitch, quality, and frequency, which is intensity. I'll come to this anyway. It's called prophetic tone. So if you're a prophet, you need to understand tones. So like I stand with you now, what I'm hearing is siren. I'm wondering what's happening in siren now, and I'm still siren in meeting keys. So as I begin to spend time more, I begin to get clarity. Why am I hearing siren in meeting keys? It means siren is coming to somebody that I know, or somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So before I finish today, I'm going to finally get the person and call somebody and say, guy, either you be careful of sirens around or be careful of something. But I know it's meeting keys now, siren. So how do I know? Because of pitch, I hear it. Quality, it's not police, it's actually ambulance. Gloria. You get to know. Don't worry, you get to know this with time. I know when I was learning pitch, quality, intensity. When I was going through my prophetic time, it was difficult, to be honest. But as you begin to have interest, you will know more than myself. Trust me. But right now, all I'm doing now is just impartation. But you're going to keep studying. Anyway, now Bible says Aaron, or you call it Aaron, Aaron was a bit uncomfortable and Miriam because of this guy Moses married a woman from Ethiopia, and they summoned Moses, and God appeared. God says, if there be any prophet in this land, I, God, speak to such prophets in vision. I speak to that prophet in dream. What is the difference between vision and dream? It's easy, you know. Don't be afraid.
Vision is a dream when you awake.
Vision is a dream when you are awake. All preachers are
this is the best answer. Oh my God. You are 100% correct. vision is dream when you are awake.
That's it.
I can't even ask the next question again. So vision is dream when you are awake.
Yeah.
What is dream? It's vision when you are asleep. Oh my God. Okay, you're correct.
That's it.
Okay, in vision, you don't need to be asleep. You need to be awake.
Yeah.
And in vision and in dream, you sleep. However, dream is now confined to time. Because some people, they only dream in the evening. But the kind of dreams talking about is you dream anytime. So people have got people that are prophetic. Once they lay their head, they dream. Once you tell them about the situation, okay, fine. You just give them 10 minutes to go and sleep. It's a gift here. It's different from the normal dream. When they close their eyes, they are lost. They'll tell me, prophet, just give me 5 minutes, give me 10 minutes. They will literally go and sleep. Literally go and sleep. And they will download all the information and tell you that's what the Lord is saying for like 5 minutes. So this day eyes closed, this day eyes open. However, this is a vision. But there's a next dimension of this, so I'm not going to talk on that. It's called trance. It's actually the next dimension. Trance. This is actually traveling. So God says, if there's any prophet in this land, I speak to them with their eyes open or their eyes closed.
Yes.
But God said, but with my servant Moses, Jesus Christ, I speak with him face to face. Chapter pro shida. Face to face.
Yes.
God speaks to you face to face. But do you know that if God speaks to Moses face to face, so Moses stands before God face to face, do you know that yours is even greater? You speak to God, he speaks to you inside of you. See, you pass this level. Moses and him are physical, face to face. But Jesus Christ is not even speaking face to face with you. It's inside of you speaking.
Yes.
So there's vision, there's dream. Now, the reason why I told you to read John chapter 2. It says, your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. But what prophesy means to speak forth. In prophesying, there are 2 dimensions to prophecy. Am I going a bit too deep? No. So prophecy is divided into foreseeing and foreseeing. So we have prophecy. See why? It's divided into foreseeing. F-O-R-T-H-S-E-E-I-N-G and F-O-R-E and foreseeing. Prophecy, and this is where you're going to know where you belong. Prophecy is divided into foreseeing and foreseeing. Now, foreseeing, you come here. Foreseeing is actually getting a word from God from his word. How do I mean? In foreseeing, for instance, if someone is going through a problem and tell you, Brother Chris, I'm going through this issue, you will not rest. Each time you open your Bible, it's always relating to the problem. You understand?
Amen.
Someone tells you, my job is about, each time you turn your Bible, it's always, you always have a word from the scripture. So you find some people, they always give you text messages about what. And sometimes you find yourself sending text messages to people about the word of God, about what they are going through at that time. And they'll reply you, do you know what? I'm just going through the same problem now. And each time you do to different people, they'll keep replying. It's actually a foreseeing if you've never discovered. Because God spoke to you at that time to send a message at that time. So foreseeing is you speaking the mind of God from his word. Foreseeing is speaking the mind of God for what is to come. So from the word for, it means prediction. You forecast. You foresee. So foreseeing is speaking what is to come. So you can operate as a foreseer, saying that, Brother James, Arise, shine, for the light is come and the glory of the Lord is risen. And Brother James have been done all through the week. And that one word, once he reads it rather, it's like, not just that, it's been edified, exalted, and consoled from the word. But you could say, Brother James, arise, shine, for the light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen. Brother James, the Lord said to tell you, in 2 days' time, there's so and so that's going to happen to you. Because the Lord has not only showed you from His word, He has already shown you what is to come. So you can actually operate as a fourth year or first year, all both together, called the gift of utterance. Is it too much?
No, it's brilliant.
Utterance. The gift of utterance is you speaking what will happen. You utter a word. For instance, God honors the word of His prophets. So let's start by the best way I can give you. For instance, I can say something that is not there, but because I've said it, God honors my word and He will do it. For instance, I could say somebody who has no boyfriend, or a girl who has no boyfriend, no fiancé, no relationship. I can say, the Lord said to tell you that by this time, in 2-3 days time, that there's a man that's going to engage you, or there's a man that's going to come your way. There is no man. You may not plan for man. In fact, you say, I don't want any guy. But because I've spoken that word, God will have to bring that man by force. Because He has to honor the word of His prophets.
Amen.
Amen. So when a prophet prophesies to you, it's not because they have seen it, because they are calling it forth.
Amen.
So when God says, I'm going to bless you to be a financial strength in this church, it's not because they have seen you building mega ministry, but because they are calling it. So God has to honor the word of faith that has come. It's called the gift of utterance. Why? Because you foresaw, and now it's blessing the gift. So a gift of utterance is someone who has the gift of prophecy that can foresee from the word of God, foresee to predict and speak the word. Can actually operate here, operate here, operate here. Amen.
Amen.
Are we flowing?
Yes.
Then your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Your young men shall do what?
Dreams.
Your young men. Your young men shall do what? Your young men shall do what?
Have vision.
Jesus Christ. I'm going home. Your young men shall do what?
Shall see visions.
Joel 2:28.
Young men shall
It's old man shall
Old
old
men
men
shall
will
have visions.
Old men will dream and young men shall have
visions.
visions.
Yeah.
Joel 2:28.
Joel.
Joel 2:28.
Young men shall see visions.
The old people are dreaming.
Young men shall do what?
The old men
See vision.
Is it two different Bibles?
No.
Young men shall do what?
See visions.
The old man shall dream dreams.
Okay. No, young men shall see what?
Visions.
Young men. So one is the prophecy, sons and daughters shall prophesy. The young men shall what? See visions. Now let us look at vision. Young. Y-O-U-N-G. Young men and women shall see. The first word they see is what? See, vision. Vision is seen. Vision is pictorial. Vision is different from this because this is utterance. This is spoken. These are words. These are sights. Amen. So your young men, your sons and your daughters, they shall prophesy. Your young men shall see visions. It means they don't need to go to sleep to see. So God is empowering young people this time, not literally by age, but people who have the desire for God. That they can see things of the Spirit. So that you don't need to break this place to see things here. Your young men shall see vision. So vision literally, like you said, is sleeping, but what do you
I dream.
When you are awake.
Dreaming when you are awake. So these guys are dreaming, but they are awake. So your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall dream when they are awake. But that's what it is really. So we have those who are gifted in foreseeing and utterance, and those who have a pictorial view. And but I have a lot of people who operate here as well, more than even this. But this is actually a faith-based ministry because you have to speak it to come to pass. But this they shall see. This is one of the things I need to know, that your eyes is the most important gate. Write it down. My eyes is the most important gate. There are 5 gates in the body.
Okay.
Gates, G-A-T-E.
Alright.
Yeah. Ears, nose, eyes, mouth. Literally your 5 senses. When you smell, they call snipers. They are called watchmen. The book of Nehemiah speaks of watchmen and gatekeepers.
The 5 senses.
5 senses. What you sniff from afar you sense. Listen, we need prophets in this church. Sniffers, I love sniffers. They're like dogs. From afar they smell demons.
Yeah.
Have a son. This guy, once you pass, he smells you. It's Jesus Christ. That level of grace. I call him my sniffer. Anyway, I'm going to follow me. Prof. Yeah? 2. It smells. Church, every church needs it. In the book of Nehemiah, during the rebuilding of the temple and the walls, there were men that were put by the gates and those put by the walls. Those that are put by the walls, they actually are meant to be there guarding the walls, waiting for guys to intrude. Their responsibilities are called watchmen. Watchmen is a different level of the prophetic. Those guys are on a different level. Watchmen in this church, if you have them, they can be in this church and they watch what is to come. They're in the church and they are watching powers, demonic powers from outside that's coming. They know when someone wants to be sent from the devil to come because they are watchmen. They're always on guard. And most times they sniff as well. Say, Daddy or what? We need to be careful because someone is going to join the choir that will mess things up. Or someone will join the prayer band that will mess things up. Because they've seen them from afar. They are beat up. Why? Because they stay by the walls. If you watch Roman films, you see those guys with their bow and arrows, those are called watchmen. They are just there guiding around to see what's going to come. So we need those prophetic people in church as well that will know what's going to happen. Say that, you know what, in the next 3 months, let's not employ anyone in the technical. Why? Because the enemy is going to send someone to come that one will help us. Do you know why? Demons don't come like demons. If they come like demons, you pray them out.
Yes.
That's the reason why, for God's sake, Delilah had to pamper Samson. She's a church girl. Listen, if Delilah acted like Jezebel, then Samson would have known from time.
Yes. That's right.
But Delilah will come, pamper you, rub you, play with you. She'll be the church girl. Encourage you to pray. Encourage you, let's speak in tongues together. Let's together. She will encourage you. All she's interested in is your see vision, your eyes. Because all the Philistines did that they plucked his eyes. Right? Delilah had to sell him first. You as a prophet, you are a prophetic oversight. And one of the roles of a prophet is you're a leader. And you cannot lead with your eyes plucked out. So the devil is after your vision to affect your mission. If you can get your eyes, it will get your followers. Yeah. That's the reason why Delilah sold Samson. And what the enemies did first, the Philistines, they plucked his eyes. When his eyes was plucked, they now reduced him to be grinding. So a man who was meant to be a deliverer became an entertainer. The Bible says, let him make entertainment for us. Why? Because if the devil can get the eyes of a prophetic people, then they will get a church. And once the church is gotten, it becomes a circus. Where we have people doing gymnastics and magic. Yeah. Why? Because the prophetic vision of the church has been broken. Yes. So the eyes, the young men shall see. So the enemy is after young men that needs to stand as one man in the church. The eyes of prophetic people, that's what the enemy is after, young people. If the enemy can get your vision, they'll get the church. Because the young people are the eyes of the church. They are the people who know what's happening, what's up, how's that. It is young people that will come to talk, Daddy, you know what? This church is doing it this way, let us do it this way. Because they are watchmen. Young people, they are the ones who go out for concerts, go out for conferences, and they know the way other churches do it outside. Because you have more young people go to events than elderly people. So they are watchmen, they understand the way other church practices and do stuff. They will not come back to church and say, Daddy, this is what it is. Because they are oversight. They oversee things outside and bring it. So the enemy is after young people. If they can get your eye. Because sometimes these young people will go out and see sin and bring the sin inside church.
Yes.
So your young men shall see. But Delilah will not let you see. Because Delilah will always give young people a lap as comfort. Very comfortable lap. And she'll put your Samson and caress your head. Caress your head. And whisper. Do you know, the Bible says When Delilah was caressing Samson's hair, the Philistines were lodging in the same house. They did not camp outside, they were lodging. But because he had become so comfortable on Delilah's lap that he lost his prophetic sight and senses, that an enemy or enemies were actually lodging in our house. Because he had lost it, he kept comfortable, stayed comfortable. And she was caressing his head. If I can get his hair, they will pluck his eyes. That's the reason why the church of God right and the youth are caressing their head on comfort. Because if they can get the eyes of the youth, they get the church. But God says he needs the young men to see vision. Because prophetically, young people are pillars of the church. But when they mean pillar in that context, those are the strength of the church. But if you can get your eyes as a young man, if you can get your prophetic oversight, your vision, then the church will scatter. Think about it. No matter how strong this church is, if all the young people in this church start going out and getting imprisoned, getting pregnant, this church will fall. No matter how much you pray, if 3 girls in a place of 1 month get pregnant, 3 other girls in the next one get pregnant, 2 boys get imprisoned, this church will close down. Literally close down. Why? Because the news about this church spread everywhere. Amen.
Amen.
So the enemy is after young men's eyes, means they're after your vision. Young men are beginning grace to oversee, because you're actually on the gates, or rather on the walls. And the old men shall what? Well, they're always sleeping anyway. So old people are always dreaming. They're always sleeping. Old people in church, always nothing. So, but in that context, old men shall dream. It means that the desires of the church or the desires of the ecclesia God begin to old people. So they begin to desire. The word dream in that context means to desire. They dream to be. I dream to be a pilot. I dream to be a preacher. I dream to be. They begin to dream things for the church. And these old men shall begin to dream to come. You know what? We've been in this church for long. I wish, I desire that this church go in this direction. Amen. That's what they do. Elderly people. Old people means those that have been in church for some time. It's our church no moving. So basically, these are just the dimensions of the prophesy, see vision, dreams. And the Lord was saying how it deals with these guys with visions. So it deals with maybe young people with vision, elderly people with dreams, and Moses face to face. But us, it doesn't deal with us face to face. It deals with us from inside of us. There are 3 dimensions of God. And I'm going to say that to you now. This is actually theological. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Yeah? The Trinity. God the Father, the Bible says, the Lord said to Moses, build me a tabernacle that I may dwell among my people. Let's say, for instance, God the Father, yeah, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yeah? The Lord said to Moses, build me a tabernacle that I may dwell among. Somebody say among.
Among.
God says he wants to dwell among his people. And the Bible says, the Son, Jesus Christ said, I've come for the Jews. Okay? Are you listening?
Yes.
So I've come for the Jews. For the Jews. And the Holy Spirit is now in us. Okay?
Yes.
So let's look at the dispensation. God the Father was with them. God the Son was for them. God the Holy Spirit is in them. God the Father was with them, among them. God the Son came for the Jews. Then God the Holy Spirit is in us. So among them, God spoke through prophets. For them, God spoke through His Son. In them, God speaks through His Holy Spirit. So God spoke with Moses here, even past 2 dispensations. And now we are not even in this place. So God is even closer here. So God doesn't need to come down to speak with us anymore. It's always a residence.
Amen.
Because your body is not in the temple. Amen.
Amen.
So that's one thing you should know. Now Acts chapter 16. You're asking me how do you discern? Acts chapter 16 from verse, I remember, is it verse 18? Acts 16. Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
Acts 16, 18.
Acts chapter 16, verse 18.
Verse 18 here.
And this she did for
No.
many days.
Go to 2 verses up. 2 verses up.
2 verses up. 20.
Okay. No, 2 verses up, not down.
Acts 16:16.
16. Yeah.
Now it happened as we went to prayer that a certain
Guys, hold on a second. Listen very attentively. I want to answer his question. Go on.
Acts chapter 16 verse 16.
Yeah.
Now it happened as we went to prayer that a certain slave girl possessed with the spirit of divination.
1 second, hold on 1 second. A girl was possessed with the spirit of divination. Guess this. Let's look at the word now. What is possessed?
Taken over.
Okay, with the spirit of
Divination.
what is divination? What is divination? Yeah, from divination you get the word divine. But what does divination mean?
That's what apart. It's
Spiritism.
to separate. To tear apart.
Sorry?
No.
That's not speaking theology. What is divination?
To divide.
I didn't say division.
Yeah.
Divination.
To deviate.
No.
I didn't say deviation.
Divination.
From the word divination, you get the word divine.
All right.
Divine first, then nation. What does divination mean? She was possessed but was the spirit of divination.
Pertaining to spirit.
What is possessed?
Possessed is taking over.